All right, this is another part that doubles the bass line, stays in fifth position. So 7, 5, 7. And then at the end, 5, 6, 7. And then that low A fretted with the thumb. And that riff is played a total of 12 times last time. And then you're going to come out of it into this harmonized lick. So we're bending up 8th fret of the B string. 5th fret, and then 8th again. So you're going to bend up, release, pull off to the 5th fret. And then you're going to bend the 7th fret of the G string. Up a whole step, 5th fret, the end of the lick. So 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, pull up. And then there's that sort of reprise of the intro rhythm part, but it's a little bit different. He goes. So the first time, there's a little trill, but the second time, you got to pull off 7, 5, 5, 5, G string and B string. And then that repeats. And then that chorus melody is going to come back in, but we've already gone over that part. All right, now let's add that other rhythm guitar part on top of this third verse. All right, this other rhythm part is played up here. It's kind of based on A minor 7 up here, and primarily on the D, G, and B strings. Coming on B2, 1. So that's, first you strum the chord, and while holding the index and middle finger, you're going to take the ring finger off, pick the D string and hammer. And then you pick the chord again and pull off. But you pull both fingers off. And then that repeats, except going forward from there in most of the rest of the bars that follow. There's a little that comes at the end of it, where you still have your index finger barred across the A and the D string at the 12th fret. But that hammer moves from the D string over to the A string. So that's 12, 14 on the A, barred across D and the G at 12, and then you pull back 14, 12. So you got. doesn't do that every single time. Sometimes he just goes, or sometimes he stays up there by going. And then at the end, this little single note lick is in harmony with the other guitar. So we're bending 15th fret of the B, up a whole step. You release the bend, then pull off to the 13th fret. To the 15th fret and vibrato. That time. Release the bend, pull off the 13, and then 14th fret in the G. Then we move down to 5th position. So we got 8th fret of the high, 5th fret, 8-5 on the B. And then G string up a whole step, 7th fret, 5-7. And then you lay out for that rhythm part. And those slide accents come back. And then at the very end there, it jumps back up to harmonize the melody. All right, so this starts with a rhythm part. Just doubling the bass, 3-5, 5-7 between the 6th string and the 4th string. That repeats, and then it ends. 5-7-5 on the A, 3 on the A, and then after the first 4 bars, this solo starts 1. 5-8. So in bar 7, you're coming down from 1. Another one of those 8, come down. And then it's bar 8. 5-7-5-5, 8-5-5. And then the next bar. So we're going to start with that bend up 7th fret of the G string. And then the next bar. So that was bar 10. And then in bar 11. So that's 5-8-5 bend. 8-5 slow bend. Next bar. So that's going into bar 13. Coming out of bar 12, B3, 3. And this is where he starts to repeat this lick going. So that's 5-8, 5-8, 5-5. And then in bar 15, you're going. So it's still coming off that lick, and you know, the way it rolls, it's definitely confusing to try to get it exact. You have to sit with the transcription slowly and really listen. But that 10, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8, 7. Now let's add the other guitar on top of that. All right, so it's going to come in and pick up our 1, 2, 3. So this is 17, 19. And then 17, 19, 17, hammer on pull-up. And on 19 on the D. And then back to 17 on the B. So that's step and a half. 17, 16, 15. 16th fret on the B. Step bend. Then going into the next bar. So 20th fret, bend. Down to 17. 19, release. 17, 19, 17. Then he shifts down to 5th position. So you got seventh fret of the G bend, 5, 5, 8, 5, 7, release. The unison bend here, 7, 5. Now one thing to keep in mind is, you got two guitars just sort of really freely soloing. So it gets really confusing to read and to listen to. The lines are so free, especially, that last 8-bar section. You got this one guitar going, licks like that where you're going. Just, so the real thing to keep in mind is what all those different shapes are. You got, that's 8, 5, 5, and then things like that. Going up, 5, 7 on the A string, 5, 5. And then those licks just kind of roll around between that. So if you wanted to get every one of those licks, you'd really have to sit and look at a transcription because they are very confusing timing-wise. So just listen closely, listen for those different shapes. And then at the end here, last 3 bars, you can hear this. He's just doing this hammering on 5, 6, 7 on the G, on the B, and the high E. Comes back down just straight hammer up to the 7th fret on the B, G, and D string. And ends with this.